Hello everyone, welcome to TGS 2020 Online Capcom Special Program. We're about to begin. So my name is Taguchi and I will be your MC for this portion. I will be Taguchi and I will be your MC for this portion. During this live stream, we will be welcoming guests from Capcom's development team who are ready to share with us some announcements regarding titles Resident Evil Village and Monster Hunter Rise. Wow, look at all the comments. So let's start with the first title. We'd like to call tonight's guests to the stage. So over here, could you introduce yourselves? Hi, my name is Tsuyoshi Kanda, and I am one of the producers for Resident Evil Village. So for everybody watching, thank you for watching tonight. Next up.
Shout out to our viewers in Japan and all over the world.
That was in English, but his name is Peter Fabiano. Wow, look at all the comments. Everybody's really excited to kind of see the information that we're going to unveil tonight. So, what should we start with? So, today we'll be talking about Resident Evil series, especially Resident Evil Village. So, we want to start by talking about Biohazard Village. Here's the latest trailer for those who may have missed it.
All clear. Whoa, move! Chris? What the hell? Take him away.
In life and in death, we give glory. The bell tolls for us all. They're coming again!
Mia.
Quit being so paranoid. Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch, and into the forest deep.
And in death, we give you glory. Mother Miranda.
It's just a local tale.
If it's just looking, window shop away.
Wow, that was so scary, right? Looking at all the comments, it seems like everybody is like, wow, that was really cool. Thank you. So, including videos, we have a lot more information to show you today. So, we thought we'd start with a summary and some other information. To start with, this game's story takes place several years after Resident Evil 7. Just like RE7, players assume the role of Ethan Winters, who's now living peacefully with his wife Mia. So that peace that he is living with his wife is shockingly shattered by Chris Redfield, who helped Ethan in the previous game. So after watching the trailer, I'm sure players are left wondering what Chris's motives could be, and how this changes the dynamic between the characters from RE7. We can't disclose any secrets today, but we'll continue to provide more information in the future. So in terms of the setting, as the title implies, this game takes place in a desolate, snowy village where all sorts of drama unfolds. So interesting thing about this game is the village plays a central role, so much so that it can be considered another main character. And here we get a look at some of the creatures that have taken root in the village. As seen in the trailer, they move fast, they're very violent, and they sometimes hunt in packs. They'll become even tougher when they're organized and coordinating their offensives. But even in this creature-infested village, there are various residents that the players can expect to encounter along the way. So what sort of story is going to be waiting for you with all these interesting characters in Village? So we'll have more details about this as well, but you can look at the pictures that we have and kind of come up with your own ideals. So everything looks really cool, right? Like, just seeing it brings up all these kind of interesting, makes me imagine all the cool things that are going to be happening in this game. So is there anything else you can show us tonight? So yeah, we have something that we haven't shown anybody yet. We have an interview with Pete and with the director Sato and with the art director Takano. So please take a look.
Beautiful,
so
terrifying.
So a very beautiful but scary. For Resident Evil 7, we initially thought of Ethan as a character who would just act as a camera for the player, a sort of blank slate for the cam to project themselves onto. But from a story perspective, we realized it would be better to make Ethan Winters a character onto himself. And like, we really ended up liking who Ethan became, and we wanted to know what happened to him after Resident Evil 7, like what sort of life he would lead. So we started thinking that for the next stage, the protagonist really couldn't be anybody else but Ethan, and we figured this all out at a pretty early stage. We want to make sure Village was just as terrifying as Resident Evil 7, maybe even scarier. But something you'll probably notice that's different from that game is that we changed the lighting a lot from what you saw in Resident Evil 7. You probably noticed that if you watched the PV. And we think we really hit a good distance and made a terrifying and beautiful village.
From that title, and really grew them in scale for Resident Evil Village. Not only did we up the graphics and elements of survival horror, but we focused on making the world and the atmosphere all around it feel both beautiful yet terrifying.
So when we were making Resident Evil 7, we thought, is this still scary? We decided that in terms of game design, we would go back over everything that we did, and you can keep this in mind. We'd go back and we'd kind of reverse we'd rethink all the logic we used in the previous games and try to make a really terrifying game. So compared to RE7, Village is a bit more catchy, a bit more easy to pull yourself into. That's one of the primary concepts we kept in mind when creating the game. Now, in terms of visual beauty and the weight we gave to it, I really left it all entirely in the capable hands of art director Takano. As Village's director, I tried to think about the feel of the game, like what are the emotional moments, where's the terror, where's the beauty, where's the cruelty? were all these like feelings? And thinking about all that sort of stuff is my main job, what I consider my main job when I screen this game. Now, when we think of the word village, it evokes a sense of closeness, of like a small, tiny place. But when you look at what you've built Village to be, it's sort of a colossal distance. It's got like this colossal distant feel to it. We wanted to give it a sense of like oomph, like a very sense of reality. So we did our best to make the mountains around the village look as fantastic as possible, to really give it a wide open vibe. We wanted players to walk through the world and be like, whoa, I didn't think of what I could actually go here, and wow, this is so cool and everything. So we thought a lot about how to create a game that you can make your own approach to, where you could figure out your own solutions to problems you face. This is something we decided to do a lot more with this game. So you have a lot more freedom than in RE7. We want players to experiment, to figure out things that work for them. We want everyone to think of Resident Evil Village as a horror movie that you can play.
Works really well to draw you into the world we've created. You'll want to take your time to fully explore the detailed environments and the fully designed set pieces. The only way that you could make it any more immersive, I guess, is to scan yourself and put yourself in the game.
Where did you find this guy?
Give me a break, Pete.
Hey, I only work with professionals.
But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty, and into the forest deep.
What is it with that creepy story?
It's just a local tale.
まあ、絵本を使った理由はですね、すごくいろんなバラエティに富んだ作品になる商品になるなと思ってたんですね。まあ一番よくない
Because we had a huge variety of things that we included in the game. We realized later that it would be hard to summarize all that, and players might get confused and think, what's this all about? That would be, not ideal. So we came up with this one storybook that would sort of summarize everything for people so they could understand the whole picture of the game.
To get the full experience. All the little touches and ideas that the designers add are fully realized and come together once you make it through the entire game.
僕はそうですね、ヴィレッジは
Village to me is
僕はやっぱりそうですね、イーさんっていう一人の人間の
this kind of story of Ethan, this one
イー
guy.
さんっていうそのキャラクターの一つの、イーさんの全てを描き切る作品だと思ってます。
So probably the entirety of who he is just kind of brought into one single
イーサン・ウィ
game.
ンターズっていうのを最後まで見届けたいと。
For the Ethan Winters that we created in Resident Evil 7, I wanted to see where his story ended up. And I think that's kind of one of the main centerpieces of Resident Evil Village. Wow, that was really cool. Oh man, look at all these really nice comments. Some of these comments are like, let Ethan have like a peaceful life, come on. If you watch the video we just showed, you can probably see what sort of survival horror we're trying to make with Resident Evil Village. We're hard at work on Resident Evil Village, so and we're doing everything we can to deliver an amazing game, so stay tuned for more information. So we do have one more thing to report. While Resident Evil Village is being developed specifically for next-generation consoles and PC, we're looking into delivering the experience on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well. We're looking into it, but we can't make any promises. However, we will do our best in creating a top-tier survival horror experience on current generation consoles. Hopefully we'll be able to share some more good information. Wow, that's really exciting, right? So keep tuned for more information on this front. So that is going to be it for information on Biohazard Village, but I hear we have some more information to share with everybody from something else. Yes, we have the 25th anniversary of the first Resident Evil coming next year on March 22nd, 2021. So we're here to kick things off with this year. So we've created 2 mascots for this anniversary, like a cute one and a really cool one. And this one's like super cute, right? So the one on the right is Raccoon-kun, or Raccoon. He is the mascot of Raccoon City. Now we have one more thing to show you, and that's this right here. Wow, look at that's like all the characters. So many characters I remember from the Resident Evil series. Man, it's been forever since this came out. 25 years is a long time, right? Like, back then I was still a student when it came out, and like Nike Air Maxes and stuff were out, beepers and whatnot. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you. The reason why we're able to continue this series is because of all of you, of our fans. And I hope you enjoyed what we showed you today. And we have plenty more information to share with you soon, so please look forward to it. So that's all the news from the 2 of us today. So everybody was really surprised to see that character in the middle of that big large picture they had a second ago. So next year looks to be an excited one. And do you have one final message before you guys go and head off? So let's start with you, Takano-san. Or sorry, Kanda-san, sorry. So we can only give you a little bit of information about this game right now, but we want you to know that the entire staff for Resident Evil Village is doing our best to create the best survival horror Resident Evil game for you guys to play. So we'll do our best to keep making it a sort of Resident Evil that is what everybody wants and is the sort of thing that everybody can have a lot of fun with. So please stay tuned for more information.
Thanks everyone for watching.
So next up is Pete.
本日ありがとうございました。
So we hope you look forward to more information about Resident Evil Village and the 25th year anniversary of Resident Evil. So that was all the information we have for you about Resident Evil today, but we hope you enjoyed it. Did everybody have fun? I can't believe that Papa, the character, was in the center of that big picture everywhere. I was really surprised to see him there. So next, we have some information for you on Monster Hunter. So stay tuned. 25 years, wow. Anyway, it looks like our preparations are ready, so now we're going to move on to talk about Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2, which were announced just last week. So here to tell you about them are Monster Hunter Rise producer Tsujimoto Ryozo and the director Ichinose Yasunori. So could you introduce yourselves? I'm the producer Tsujimoto, and I am the director Ichinose. It looks like they're still warming up, so like we just showed up here, sorry. So I could sense the excitement building up the moment you two arrived. There was all these really interesting and fun comments. People are super excited to see this. So what sort of information do you have for us today? So we showed you a Monster Hunter Rise promotional video the other day, but this is one that actually is slightly different. We've updated the gameplay footage in it, so this is the TGS 2020 edition of it, so I hope you enjoy.
たった今文が届いたぞ。近々百竜夜行が起こるそうだ。そのモンスターの名はコンコリオマガイマガドン。
ハンターの誇りにかけて。
さあ参りますよ。
コメントでは一部どころか全然違うじゃねえかというものもありましたけれども。
Wow. That was Fukino's comments. That was really fun. So, as you could see, there was some new gameplay footage in there. We'll tell you a little bit more about these new elements a little bit later. That part in the end was like, wow, this is super Japanese, right? I guess we're gonna be able to expect a lot of fun elements like that in the next game. So, Monster Hunter Rise is the latest game in the Monster Hunter series. Could you tell us what it's about? So our main focus on Monster Hunter Rise is making use of the portability of the Nintendo Switch, which allows you to pick up and play the game at any time. This game is about being able to play wherever you want, whenever you want, with anyone you want. So, as we also explained during the announcement footage the other day, the Rise in the title refers to the freedom of movement the player has, which allows you to jump and climb around the environments as much as you want. We wanted to instill the title with kind of a sense of excitement to players across the world while they're exploring the game. We hope that players really enjoy that sort of stuff. So, Ichinose and I will tell you what kind of game Monster Hunter Rise is going to be and what kind of features it's going to have. So let's start with the most important aspect, the new player actions. This game has all these kind of really exciting movement-based actions that are in the game. So the game allows you to scale cliffs and by kind of elevated platforms, and to use the wire bug to do all sorts of really interesting things, like move across, to run across walls and everything. So here's going to be a video showing the wire bug. So this is some more actions that uses the wire bug to traverse the environment. This lets you do all sorts of really interesting things, like scaling steep cliffs and to reach high places, moving very quickly. It also can be combined with your weapon for a variety of spectacular attacks, creating a completely fresh hunting experience. So you can use the wire bug to do actions like wall running, to overcome obstacles like they're nothing, and to bring kind of an exciting new dynamic to the combat as well. As you can see, there's cool combo attacks you can use to make a much more fun experience. So the wire bug lets you traverse and kind of give you a lot more mobility in the game, right? And so we really hope that people are excited to see more information about this. So we are talking a little bit about the there's a new area in the game as well, sort of a central kind of place that you guys base off. And so after your quest, you'll head back over there. So we're going to talk about, in the trailer, we showed off a new locale called the Shrine Ruins. We'll be able to show you some more live gameplay of this area during Capcom TGS Live 2020 on September 2020, if that's tomorrow. We're going to have some, actually, gameplay footage. We're going to be playing it on the stream for you, so definitely put that down on your agenda so you can listen to more. You'll be able to hear a lot more about that. So definitely make sure to catch the stream on September 26th. Man, there's so much more stuff that you've added to this game. Next, we'd like you to tell us a little bit more about the new buddy, the canine. So you can watch this, see it in this new video. So this is a new type of buddy called the canine. They actively coordinate attacks with the player, and you can even ride on their backs to move around and do all sorts of other. So they're very invaluable allies in combat. So while riding a canine, your hunter's stamina doesn't really decrease. So you're able to run across each area to your heart's content. It gives you a lot more mobility. So while you're riding a canine also, you can use some items and perform some items, like you can recover your health and things like that. So Monster Hunter is a multiplayer game, but in single player, you're able to bring up to 2 buddies along on your quests, kind of any combination that you want. So you can like have a canine and one other thing as well. So, and they can be 2 of the same type as well. So it can be 2 canines. It can be a canine and like a Palinite or something like that. So if you like dogs, you can definitely go with the dog version. If you like cats, you can go with the cat version. So in single player, you can bring 2 with you, but in multiplayer, each hunter only gets to bring 1 buddy with them. So you can kind of like pick the one that, really fits you. So I'm really excited to see how these buddies will kind of affect the gameplay. But now, of course, we can't talk about Monster Hunter without mentioning the monsters. Do you have any new monsters in store for us? Can you tell us about them? So Monster Hunter Rise has lots of new monsters. So in the trailer, we showed off a few of them, including the new flagship monster Magnamalo, which you'll see here. So we can't give you all the information about Magnamalo yet. Let me just show you this picture. It's still a long way into the release, so, So we'll give you more information as we go, but for right now, we'd like you all to know that it's a fearsome fanged with vern, with a strong air of menace about it. It's really scary. It's got some very unique modes of movement, so sorry, you're going to have to wait for more information about that, but we hope everybody will look forward to finding out more about this really cool monster. Next up, we have Aknosum, a kind of very peculiar looking bird that looks kind of like a parasol. It's fiercely territorial, however, and once it detects any intruders, it spreads its wings, trying to intimidate its prey by expanding kind of a crest within that has an eyeball-like pattern on it. So next up, so this one is called the Great Izuchi. It is a bird wyvern that kind of attacks with its tail, which has evolved into a very unique shape, this sort of scythe-like shape. So the Great Izuchi forms packs with others like it, with other smaller Izuchi, and it tends to patrol its territory with some elite members of its pack by its side. So once they spot their prey, they'll attack in unison. So you have to kind of stay on your toes and be aware of the entire pack when they're coming to attack you. Next, we have this very unique monster called Tetranodon, who's an amphibious monster that's... He's a bit of a hefty chunk. He's extremely gluttonous, and it'll swallow anything that moves, including the ground that it's standing on. So once it's done eating, its stomach will swell and it kind of gets slower, but then its attacks also become heavier and more destructive. So we have definitely several more monsters to talk about. And we also have a lot of monsters that you know and love from the Monster Hunter series. And they will all be in Monster Hunter Rise, but we can't talk about them just now, so please keep an eye out for more information. So we talked a little bit about the new base that you start off in Monster Hunter Rise. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? So the base of your new hunting life is called Kamura Village, which is very Japanese looking village, right? It's got all the conveniences you need, like a smithy facilities and other really interesting buildings to explore. There's also a lot of colorful characters in this village who will be supporting the hunters as they explore this world. So the trailer also made something called the Rampage. It's really important to the story, so we can't quite reveal anything about that just yet. But this is a completely new gameplay element that we're working on, so please look forward to more information in the future. So we've talked a lot, and we showed you this new PV as well. But that's about all we can talk about today, though we do have a slightly different trailer that we've made just for this occasion. Oh, sorry, you showed us a slightly different trailer just for this occasion, so could you tell us a little bit more about the new scenes you added? So, firstly, we showed off some new actions for the lance, the hammer, the light bowgun, and the longsword. And we also showed some cool new actions that use the wire bug. There are also some really interesting new aerial attacks using large barrel bombs. So, we also have new actions and new abilities for the palicos and a guarding parasol, I think, for a canine. There was even a glimpse of a small monster with a very unique kind of face that you'll run into the shrine ruins. Kind of like a tanuki, a raccoon dog. We also showed kind of like a bug-like monster as well, but we'll tell you more about those at a later date. Wow, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot more really cool information to be waiting for, so we'll keep an eye out for it. So, as I mentioned before, we will premiere
2020というものを放送します。そちらの方で
some live gameplay at Capcom TGS Live 2020 on September 26th at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we hope you tune in again tomorrow. I think we have just some of that information on the screen. So now that we know a little bit more about the game itself, can you tell us what we should expect at launch? Well, first off, Monster Hunter Rise's release date will be Friday, March 26th, 2021. It will be released simultaneously worldwide. We'll, of course, have both a physical version and a digital version, so you can pick whichever you like. We also have a version of Monster Hunter Rise called Deluxe Edition that has a bundle of recommended DLC, including the Kamura layered armor set. For more information about this, please visit our official website. Are there any bonus things that we can accept? A pre-order bonus that we can think of? So, he commented how cute those guys look like. So we don't have that many of these. Supply will be limited. But all versions will include a Palamute and a Palaku, and some special layered armor. So your Palamute will get a Retriever costume layered armor, and your Palaco will get a Forest Cat layered out. And God, look how delightfully cute that is. So we also have 3 Monster Hunter Rise amiibos that will be released on the same as the game. Magnamala, a Palamute, and a Palaco. These amiibo unlock special layered armors in the game, so we hope you check them out. And last but not least, we did mention Monster Hunter Stories 2 the other week as well, so we have some cool crossover content for that as well, so look forward to more information on that at a later date. So pre-orders for the digital version have already gone live, and pre-orders for the physical version started today, September 25th. So please consider pre-ordering. We'd very much appreciate it. So everything we talked about today will be put up on the official website as well. So please don't forget to check that for more information. So I think that about finishes everything for today. Monster Hunter Rise comes out on March 26, 2021. Are there any final words you have for our viewers about this game? So, since Monster Hunter Rise was announced the other day, we've received a lot of positive fan feedback, which has made us really happy. Thank you very much. So we are currently working hard on completing this completely new hunting experience. So please look forward to it and to more information about our game. So we'll keep bringing you the latest info on Monster Hunter Rise in the future, but we will definitely have a lot more to talk about before March 2021. So we've only revealed a tiny bit of information thus far, so we hope you look forward to finding about all the more information we have coming up. Also, please make sure to follow the official line and Twitter and other SNS accounts for Monster Hunter. We will continue to add more information as time goes on. So that's all from Mr. Ichinose. Thank you very much for joining us today. So there are probably going to be some viewers who are like, oh man, those buddies are too cute to ride. So next, Mr. Shijimoto is going to share some more information on Monster Hunter Stories 2 with us. So at the same time as Monster Hunter Rise, we released some information. We announced Monster Hunter Stories 2. So I have some more details for you, but please take a look at the trailer.
レドの魂を感じる。この子がレドの絆石とレウスの卵を託されたのは運命なのかもしれん。
よかった。生きていてくれて。もう会えないと思っていたから。
行くぞレース。
あれは
ちょっとハラハラドキドキだけどきっと大丈夫。
レド月が来て。
早く。レウスの力を見ていない。破滅の力を見極めるのが俺たちの任務だ。
各地でレウスがどこかへ渡り行方がわからなくなっているの。
アンジャル。
はい、もうキャラクターデザインめちゃめちゃいいっていうような感じで、ね、
ありがとうございます。
映像ワクワクします。
Man, that character design was awesome. That was such an exciting trailer.
そうですね。ゲームのジャンルの方がですね、アクションではなく RPG というジャンル。
So the genre of this game is actually an RPG, not an action game.
ジャンルでですね、思う存分体験していただける作品となっております。
So just like an RPG game, it'll have all the things that you'll expect. So you'll become a monster hunter. Obviously you're going to be a monster hunter, but you're going to forge bonds with monsters, raise them, become a monster rider, and travel to all kinds of places. So moving on. So Rathalos have mysteriously disappeared from the world of Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. The protagonist, a descendant of the legendary rider Red, meets a Wavirian girl who has been entrusted with a mysterious egg. The two set out on an epic tale surrounding the Wings of Ruin. Now, of course you'll be able to adventure with many of your favorite monsters from the Monster Hunter series, but you'll also experience a narrative deeply rooted in the bonds between rider and monster worthy of the story's name. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the characters in the game? It's still a little bit too early to talk about most of it, but I think I can tell you a few things. So first, look at this slide. So some people might think this is the protagonist, but this is actually not the protagonist. This is a character named Red, who is a legendary monster rider. So please check a look at the thing in the palm of his hand. This is called a kinship stone, and it's used by riders to deepen their bond with monsters. So the bonded monsters are called monsties. So you can ride them, of course, but it's said that there are monsties with other hidden abilities as well, and you can kind of collect and find them as you go. So this is Red's partner, a Rathalos monster. So Red and his Wrath are key to the story, and they're some of the first to notice that the world has changed, or is changing. And the protagonist is Red's grandchild. The protagonist is also a monster hunter like Red, but they're only a beginner. They may be a rider, but they use similar weapons to hunters and can fight monsters. You'll be able to customize their details, so you can change their name and customize their appearance and do all sorts of interesting things like that. So this hasn't been announced yet, the next thing we're talking about. But these are all different things that your characters look like. These are all characters that you can design. So I'd also like to tell you about the weapons in the game. In addition to the great sword, the hammer, and the sword and shield, We plan to add 2 more weapons from the Monster Hunter series. So now I'd like to introduce you to another character. So this girl is a Wyverian named Enna. So in the Monster Hunter universe, there is a race that's different from humans called the Wyverians. Some of their unique traits is their exceptionally long lifespans. So she is one of those. So right now you're probably wondering why has this girl Enna been entrusted with an egg by Ratha, but we can't reveal that yet, obviously. Meeting her is the event that kind of sets the... So meeting her is the event that kind of sets the protagonist's adventure in motion. And meeting her is sort of the key that sort of sets your adventure and sets you on your quest to find the Wings of Ruin. So I'm really excited to see what sort of story is waiting for us. So can you tell us a little bit more about this? The game release. So the game release is going to be in summer of 2021. So we're developing it to be a game that not just Monster Hunter fans, but all RPG fans can enjoy. Also, as I said earlier, some aspects of the game tie into Monster Hunter Rise, so yeah, some things in Monster Hunter Rise will tie into Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin, so please look forward to more information on that. Wow, look, I think that's all the time we have today. We'll be updating all this information on the official website, so you can check there for more information. So do you have anything to say to the viewers in closing, Mr. Tsujimoto? So today we introduced 2 games, Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. So we're putting out updates via the official website, as well as on our Twitter and other official SNS accounts. So please, don't forget to keep an eye on those. Also at Capcom TGS Live 2020 tomorrow, we will also have more information for you as well, including a live, we will be playing the game for you live as well. So thank you, I hope everyone's excited for Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. I'm Mr. Tsujimoto, thank you for your presentation. So, and that is all of the titles that we're introducing today. But we do have a number of special announcements from Capcom. So a huge sale line of Capcom titles are now up to 86% off. Several Resident Evil titles, including Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 7, and others, are currently on sale. For players who haven't played Resident Evil 7 yet, now is the chance to play before Resident Evil Village arrives. Also, Monster Hunter, I believe, Generations Ultimate on Nintendo Switch is now on sale. How about picking up to play with friends while looking forward to the arrival of Monster Hunter Rise? We also have other really fun old titles as well, such as Okami from our older past titles. So please keep an eye out for more information on them. Now next up, we have some information on the Capcom TGS Live 22 live stream. It starts at 9 p.m. From 12 p.m. for just 2 days on September 26th and September 27th. You can tune in for additional info on the 3 titles to feature today, along with the Devil May Cry Special Edition and Announcer's Street Fighter V Champion Edition. Now, lastly, we have, after the end of the stream today, we have the Street Fighter League Pro JP 2020 tournament first leg, which will be starting on Esports X at 11 p.m. Japan Standard Time today. Topped up with international top players such as the legendary player Umehara and the Todai graduate Tokido. The strongest players will gather to form a dream team they're set on joining the league. Don't miss all of this really awesome stuff. Wow, that was such a really packed broadcast we had today. We hope everybody really enjoyed it, and that brings an end to our program tonight. For everybody watching today, thank you very much. Goodbye, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.
この後23時よりマウスコンピューターの番組が始まります。